Just walking into a house like this, there's no other option but to feel instantly creative and one with nature.
Frank Lloyd Wright was just so before his time, the way he thought about architecture really as art, right? It's supposed to just blend, it's supposed to feel a certain way. When you're in the park across the street and you look back, you can see the homes as they stack through. And you get to this house visually and it's different. It fits the landscape. And the other homes, they're very beautiful homes, but it doesn't feel the same.
Frank Lloyd Wright was very particular and very intentional about not just the design of the home and the architecture, but also everything that goes into the home, down to designing clothing for the women of the home that was intended to be worn whenever they had guests in the home. So he was very intentional about the look and the feel that he wanted the experience to be for anyone visiting his homes.
Which also makes it typically difficult to live in a Frank Lloyd Wright home. In this home, it's a little different because there were just little tables and chairs around this room, and that was really it.
The house was built in 1912. It was created as an offshoot of the main Coonley estate and was designed to be the school for their daughter. The program of the school was designed to allow for children, regardless of gender, to participate in all activities. So in this area is both the study and the shop. And within the kitchen, all children were part of the food preparation process.
It existed as a school up until 1919, when it was rehabbed by William Drummond, who was Frank Lloyd Wright's most well-known student. And that's really where it took the home from simply a school to having the ability to be livable by a single family.
For a historic home within Riverside, you were not allowed to change the exterior without the permission of the Historic Society. So part of that process does include providing proof that the change that you are looking to enact was part of the original design.
You know, we wanted to install solar panels on the home. We wanted to do something that would kind of add an advanced technology. I believe it was the second Frank Lloyd Wright home to ever do that. And we had to make sure that those panels weren't seen from the streets. But in terms of the interior of the home, there's really no rules. There probably should be.
There are some social rules.
And in the past there were owners who changed a lot of things. I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright referred to interior decorators as inferior desecrators. And there was definitely a past owner who, it was a cool look for the 60s. It was
very cool look.
I mean, really cool look, but it definitely wasn't original.
So the subsequent owners, Ted and Susan Smith, did go through some very significant efforts. The trim that you see, it has been returned to its original wood coloring. And if you look on the brick, you can see where there are remnants of the white paint that Susan actually did take a Q-tip and pick out whatever she could reach.
The kitchen space hadn't been touched in a long time, not since the 60s. There was 3/4-inch walnut paneling throughout the whole kitchen and the back area, floor to ceiling. When we were pulling it down, sandwiched in between the cabinet was a letter from Ted Michaels, who basically wrote, "You're an idiot, why are you doing this?
You nut."
You nut.
Yes.
And then, well anyways, God bless you. But what was underneath was the original cabinetry. So
beautiful.
So we could patch those holes, recreate a feel and look that would have originally been here. One story that I absolutely love was that Rosemary Michaels took down all the windows out of the house. Apparently she didn't like the windows, and an individual came over here with a briefcase full of cash and went to the storage locker and bought all the windows. They've been noted in multiple publications as the most significant art glass windows that Frank Lloyd Wright ever created. And I attribute a lot of that to, interesting enough, Rosemary Michaels, because if she hadn't taken them out and sold them, and they didn't go into the MoMA and the Met, if they weren't in so many, the Art Institute of Chicago, if they didn't go into all these museum collections, people wouldn't have seen them and fell in love with them. So in a way, she did a service to Frank Lloyd Wright and to this house. The Shippersmiths, when they moved in here in the 80s, they decided to take on a daunting task of recreating museum replicas to be able to experience what it was originally like. So the additional area that was created in 1919, because nothing original was really left back there, we just gutted it. I mean, I was back there with the jackhammer for weeks, just tearing up concrete and all these levels and the pool. To take it to a point where it touched on a look that feels like this part of the home, but not an exact replica.
We have been just getting into the details that seem insignificant for any other home.
Sometimes it stalls you out a little bit. You have to spend some extra time thinking. In terms of the restoration process, it's really how little can I do and still make it wonderful. Not because it's easier, but to make it right.
We are raising a family in this home. Hopefully this house provides that creative outlet. It's more than just developing young people who are going to have jobs. It's developing the artist within, in our kids and also with their friends.